After dropping my task, my husband kicked me and my youngsters out. He didn't realize I had $600 million saved. Dear pals, before I continue, please kindly hit the subscribe button, like, and proportion this video with your family. Your aid weigh the sector to me. Now, to my story. My call is Amina Okafor, and I in no way imagined my existence would resolve the manner it did. 4 years. I constructed a profession I used to be pleased with, working as a senior representative at a respected firm in Lagos. I used to be the girl who may want to juggle a demanding profession and nonetheless make it home in time 2% lunches, help with homework, and kiss my youngsters properly nighttime. I notion I had it all. A husband who cherished me, 2 stunning youngsters, and a destiny that regarded strong. Then, one ordinary morning in past due autumn, the life I knew slipped through my fingers. My supervisor called me into his workplace. His expression already heavy earlier than he even spoke. Downsizing, he explained. Budget cuts, not anything non-public. I listened numbly, my palms trembling as I established the envelope he slid throughout the desk. Felt surreal. Much like that, the profession I had given the whole thing to was gone. Using domestic, my thoughts have been a storm. I kept telling myself Cheeky would understand. We'd faced challenges before, and I had continually believed inside the electricity of our marriage. Honestly, he'd ring a bell in me that I wasn't alone in this, that we'd get via it collectively. I rehearsed how I'd inform him, clinging to pray. That night, I sat on the dinner desk with Chike and the kids. Ifeoma, my 12-year antique, twirled her spaghetti absent-mindedly, and 8-year-old Tunde leaned in opposition to my arm, sensing something turned into off. My voice cracked as I stated the words I had dreaded all day. I misplaced my activity. Cheek did not even appearance up from his cell phone at the start. When he finally did, his expression changed into flat, almost irritated. So, what are you saying? You're unemployed now. He nodded. Sure. However, I've already began achieving out to contacts. I'll locate something quickly. That is just a setback. He sighed loud and exaggerated, like I had dropped a burden squarely on his shoulders. Do you even recognize what this means, Amina? The loan, payments, lessons. It is all on me now. You've got simply made matters 10 times more difficult. I stared at him, taken aback. Chike, I have carried this own family for years, whilst you could not keep down a process. I never threw that in your face. We're presupposed to be a team. His eyes have been bloodless, his voice sharp. A group. Crew pulls its weight. Right now you're dead weight. You and the youngsters. You are simply burdens. That word burdens. It hit like a knife to the chest. Ifeoma froze mid-bite, her fork clattering against the plate, whilst Tunde's little hand gripped mine tighter. I tried to blink again, tears. However, the room spun. How could he examine us, his own family, and make contact with us that? The times that observed grew worse. Chike stopped speak me to me until it become to criticize. If I sent out resumes, he sneered that I wasn't trying hard enough. If the youngsters wanted something, he snapped at them, blaming me for their wishes. The man I as soon as loved seemed to vanish before my eyes, replaced via someone envious and merciless. Then got here, the night I can never forget. December cold seeped through the windows, and the Christmas lights outside twinkled ironically as Chike stood at the door preserving my suitcase. Not his dream. I cannot try this anymore, he stated. His voice is cold because the wind outside. You and the children want to leave. I may not drown because you can't hold up. Could slightly breathe. Jake, those are your kids. How can you even say that? He shrugged almost casually, as though brushing off an inconvenience. They're your responsibility. I want my freedom. I desired to scream, to shake him, to remind him of the whole thing we had constructed together. However, as a substitute, I swallowed the lump in my throat and walked to the bedroom. I packed garments for Ifeoma and Tunde, filled what I ought to into luggage, and zipped up my very own suitcase. My arms shook the entire time. However, my kids wanted me consistent. Whilst we stepped outside, the night air slapped my face, icy and unforgiving. Ifeoma clutched my hand, silent tears walking down her cheeks, while Tunde whispered in his small trembling voice, "It is okay, Mom. We will be first rate." His try at courage simplest made my chest pain greater. We walked down that road, beyond homes glowing with warm temperature and laughter, even as I carried the load of betrayal and heartbreak on my shoulders. But in that moment, a small spark lit interior me. I didn't know how or whilst, however, I knew this changed into not the end of our story. Chike concept. He had discarded us into nothingness, that we have been burdens he should toss aside. However, he had no idea of the secret. I carried a fact that would in the future turn his scorn into sour remorse. The first few days after Chike threw us out felt like a blur of cold air and heavy silence. I moved the kids into a small condo rental on the edge of the metropolis. It wasn't glamorous. 2 cramped bedrooms, a kitchen with cabinets that groaned whilst opened, and skinny partitions that let each noise from the friends creep through. Still, it became ours, and it becomes safe. Ifeoma cried herself to sleep the first night, whispering that she missed her room, her posters, her smooth bed. Tunde attempted to stay brave, but I heard him sniffle while he thought I wasn't listening. I stayed strong for them, but I felt like the floor beneath me had given way. There have been mornings after I stood in the front of the toilet mirror, watching my worn-out eyes, thinking how a person I had given so much to may want to toss me apart like in vintage coat. For a second, I allowed myself to sense the humiliation, the sting of rejection, the pain of betrayal. Then I would wipe my tears, repair my face, and remind myself of the reality simplest I knew. Due to the fact Chike in no way knew approximately the cash, years before, lengthy before I even met him, I had commenced making an investment. Lower back then, I worked at a firm that handled monetary planning, and I found out everything I ought to. At the same time as my friends had been splurging on automobiles and designer handbags, I quietly bought into shares, invested in real property, and constructed accounts that no one but me may want to get right of entry to. After I married Chika, I in no way stated the volume of it. I let him consider we lived on our blended salaries, whilst I tucked away the fortune I had cautiously grown. By the time I stood in that toilet replicate, with puffy eyes and a broken coronary heart, my hidden savings and investments had blossomed into something remarkable. 600 million hours. The number nearly felt unreal, like a man or woman in a storybook. But it was very real, sitting across more than one accounts and holdings, covered and developing. I had kept it hidden. Now, not because I distrusted Chike from the beginning, but because deep down, I knew human beings exchange when money is worried. Searching at him now, selfish, bloodless, and heartless, I found out how proper I had been to protect it.